So, good morning, Math 9, and today is Friday the 17th, and I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said yesterday, I'm expecting you to get question number 13 and question number 16 finished, and that will allow you to check your steps, okay? And I'm going to first start with showing you the process, okay? The process that you're learning coming out from the word problem unit. And so yesterday we stopped at this step, and I'm asking you to see if you remember solving equation containing fraction. And the key step is multiply both sides by the denominator or by the LCD. Number one. Number two, equation of this nature, it would be best whether this line is given or not given. If the numerator or the top value engaging a binomial, it would be best for you to start with a bracket. And that's part of the presentation. And that has nothing to do with math skill. Okay? So, by doing that, you're preventing from making careless mistakes. And then, if there's a similar word problem coming out from next Friday, the 24th, the next Friday unit test, and that would be exactly what you expect to do, to present the question. And so if you get the first step, assign the unknown with a letter and an answering statement. So regardless whether you get the second step or the third step, you still should be able to get 2 marks out of 4. Okay, because you're learning the process. And nobody, okay, should not be able to meet the standard set. All right? So that's how you complete the question. So I'm going to give you sometimes to write it down. Okay. So speaking of Friday test, and to make sure your test is legible, I'm going to recommend you like 1 page, 1 question. Okay? Using 1 page to answer 1 question. So with that said, of course, is the good news is there won't be too many questions going to be asked on the test. Okay? That's the good news. So make sure, okay, get the papers, ready. I'm going to keep you informed about the format, okay? Okay, so that's question 13, all right? And now, then the next question is assigned also on the same page, is page 223, I believe. Yeah. Number 16. First step, 1 mark. See, that's how am I going to evaluate, okay, to mark each step. And that's the second mark right here. So yesterday we stopped after this line. Okay? So the solving, 1 mark. The answer statement, 1 mark. Your answer statement and your assigning process, 2 spontaneous mark. Because that's what solving equation is about. You're learning how to present the question. The nice thing about the called a video lesson is, okay, give you a chance to redo the question and then watch the tape again. I know it's not a very quality production, and I know the sad thing is you cannot see my face. Okay? So in a way it's sad. But anyway, we are all trying. So I'm going to give you 20 more seconds. I'm looking at my watch. To write it down, and then we're going to start the next review lesson using the multi-step equation to review all the solving equation skill. Okay? Great, excellent. Now, today, so multi-step equation. Okay, multi-step equations. Okay, and so please pay attention to the analytical step. The analytical step simply there to prevent you from careless mistake. So watch, okay, from a beginner's perspective. So the first step, write down the equal sign, line up equal sign, clearly separate the statement into 2 sides. Then just put bracket around the numerators. See, if you're looking at this step, individuals are very weak in solving equation, but still having problem. This is a must. This has nothing to do with math skill. It's a mechanical step. Put a bracket. Next, analyzing or identify the number of terms. Yes. Wow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 things. So that's what you must do. For individuals still crying about, oh, I don't understand. Now this step, okay, none whatsoever to do with understanding. Okay? And because many individuals, like for many years, I would say kept fighting with the math teachers, okay, reluctant or refuse to write down steps. So that's how you do it, okay? Next, now the math skill. 4 times 3. Very often that would give you the common denominator. You don't even need to care about whether it's least common denominator, okay? As long as you know what is 4 times 3. Okay? Whether they would produce the least common denominator is not significant. So 4 times 3 is 12. So in this case, it happened. So we're saying CD. Or sometimes it turn out give you the lowest common denominator. 4 times 3 is 12. Another mechanical step coming up. Knowing there are 3 terms, which means you have to use the number 12 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. You see my fingers? 3 times. Because they're 1, 2, 3. 3 times. So using the number 12 3 times. And, okay. So I'm going to put down the 12 3 times. 1, equal sign, and then 2, 3. See? Because they are 3 terms. Now, after each number, I'm going to copy the question. I multiplied the number 12 to everything. Many students forget the number 7. It's a term by itself. So now after that, put 1 under the 12. 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 3. 12 times 7. So the producing this line is a challenge for students. Key step. So there are 2 key steps. Okay? One is engaging multiply LCD to every term and being able to produce this term. Next key step is opening the bracket. Right? Opening the bracket. This times this. This times this. Now simplifying both sides, if possible. that was like right, opening bracket related to Tuesday lesson. Yesterday and the day before, we were dealing with equations containing variables on both sides. And I said, if such case arise, then priority given to the latter term. Since 4c is larger than 3c, then you want to have the c on this side. Because that would be easier. Okay? So watch. Since I since the 4c is larger than 3c, okay, so like that, then the decision maker is I want the c on this side. I want to find the value of one cat. So with that decision made, then both sides subtract 3c. So that's going to give you 9. And now you know the next step would be both sides subtract 80, because you want the number on this side. So that's going to give you c equal to negative 71. So please pay attention to the number of steps for me to justify the answer. Okay? Only when you get to senior level, a question of this nature, most likely you expect to be able to solve by using just 1 or 2 steps. The time that when you get to grade 12. So right now you're working on the basic. Okay, so the good news because the weekend is approaching, as a matter of fact, they're doing this, I'm not sure about you, I would say during the pandemic, to me every day is Saturday. Okay? That's how I feel. But anyway, weekend is approaching. So I'm not going to ask you to do much. I'm going to ask you is, okay, for those individuals still struggling with solving equations, so you may want to what? Redo this example. See if you can remember the process and being able to produce the same answer. So after you feel comfortable with the process, then you should be able to handle question number 5. Okay, question number 5 on page 232. So your homework for the day, for today, this is assignment number 6, as a matter of fact. number 5. Okay. 232, number 5. And now, see if I can let me see. I hope. I'm trying to make sure you guys are able to see the question. So let me give it a chance. Okay, I'm going to focus, not to worry. Okay, hopefully this is. Now you can start take a picture. That's question number 5 on page 232. Take a picture, or you can, then at least you know every single lesson, the assignment page is going to be at the tail end of the clip. Okay? So great. So have a good weekend. If there's any concern, of course, you may want to send me an email. So have a good one. Have a good weekend class, and good luck.